So I'm going to show you where you plug in your Maf-Translator. You can mount it anywhere under the hood that it'll reach. The wire harness is about 1.5 feet long, so someplace pretty close to the factory MAF location. I'm going to show you where you can find your TAC RPM wire. That signal needs to go to the Maf-Translator in order for it to work. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and hopefully this will help you guys out with your install. What you're going to want to do is get your plugged in right here. You're going to find a place to mount your Maf-Translator. Then what you're going to want to do is bring your white wire up top side here, and you're going to want to carefully unplug this. There's a push clip in the front, and you slide this plug off. And this basically looks like your MAF plug anyway. It's similar. But if you look at your valve cover, it's right there in front, right up on top of the intake manifold. So you want to carefully, because these cars are very old, you're going to want to carefully slice into this wiring harness, and there is going to be a white wire inside of there. That white wire is the one that you're going to want to tap into to get your RPM signal for the translator. That's basically the only wire that you're going to have to hook up other than plugging it in to the old MAF harness. Once you get that done, you want to obviously heat shrink this, solder the connections. I've found in the past on my 1G, hooking up the Maf-Translator to the 1G, it actually was butt connected together. The butt connectors can fail. They can wiggle around, the wires can be loose, and yeah, that's a problem. Also, something I wanted to tell you guys is during the initial install of this, that white wire is your RPM tachometer wire. And that sends the signal to your gauge cluster for your RPM. The first day that I hooked this up, I got in the car, started it up, and the RPM was dead. Turns out that the spade connector that they give you in the packaging split the wire, and the only signal that was going anywhere was going to the Maf-Translator, and I was getting nothing on my dashboard. Kind of frustrating. So you just want to tap your white wire in up here at this plug. You want to carefully plug that back in afterwards. Find a place to mount this over on the side, and then if your car is stock, I'll show you the tables in just a second here to set all your dials up. Alright, so once you have your Maf-Translator plugged in, electrical tape it so it's nice and secure. Once your wiring is put back together at the top of the intake manifold, plug it back in. Make sure everything is nice and snug, and you're going to want to pop the cover off of this. Let me slide this out of the way. Alright, here's what she looks like. If you see in the bottom right hand corner there, it says version 1.7. This is, move my thumb out of the way. There's an auxiliary dial. There are 4 dip switches. There's a base, idle, mid, and wide open throttle in the bottom right. Each one of these dials has to be dialed in, tuned. You have to figure out what your parameters are. If you're running factory injectors, there's a table supplied in the kit, and all you need is a small flathead screwdriver, and you can turn these 1 click, 2 clicks, whatever you have to do to set them up to your specific needs and goals. So here's the chart. For my vehicle, like I said in the previous video, it's basically stock other than a few mods here and there. We're running 450 injectors, 450 cc's. So we're a 2G DSM. So our aux dial is going to be 4. Auxiliary dial is set to 4. And then we're going to look down here for 450. So we got aux 4, 450. Base is 2. So then you come over here and turn your base to 2. Now your idle, your mid, and your wide open throttle, you should leave it 0 unless you're taking it to a shop and they're gonna tune it for you and tell you exactly where to set it at. That should get you started. That should get it to turn on and idle. You're gonna want to go through this packet. You're gonna want to read the instructions. But on a 2G with stock 450cc injectors, you're gonna set your auxiliary dial to 4, your base to 2. Leave the other 3 zeroed out, and then you can try to turn it on. Hopefully she fires up like mine did. After that, you're going to need some sort of logging system, some way to see your fuel ratio, air fuel ratio, and you can mess with it from there. Well, there's that first install, guys. Alright guys, something else I wanted to show you. This is my receipt from Extreme PSI. The subtotal, $174.95 on their website. And that'll get you the 2G Maf-Translator to throw on your vehicle and get your blow-off valve vented to make that pretty little whoosh noise.